So if you haven't checked in with the world according to Kathleen Kennedy lately, don't worry, you're forgiven. I know not everyone can wedge their head up their ass that fucking far, but for the unlucky rest of us, as Disney Plus's The Mandalorian makes rubber cement swilling uber morons momentarily forget how unctuous all the recent Disney dog shit has been in a hail of Horizon shots and shit that's a fuck of a lot more interesting in actual spaghetti westerns, Chatty Cathy cracked her cake hole this last week and reminded us all where it went wrong to fucking begin with. When asked by the squares at Rolling Stone why they'd struggled to put episode 9 in cinemas without open bloodletting, she replied, quote, "Every one of these movies is a tough nut to crack. Yeah, everything is when Disney's nutting in yours, Kathy. There's no source material. We don't have comic books. We don't have 800-page novels." Well, good goddamn, Kathy. If only there were a vast trove of ancillary material accrued over an epoch spanning multifarious media from home video to video games to comics to an Amazon fucking rainforest worth of paperback fiction novels, broadening the mythos of motherfucking Star Wars to the better part of 5 fucking generations, jackass.
The sacred Jedi texts.
And if such a Scrooge money bin bonanza existed in antiquity, wouldn't it be batshit bonkers if some soulless corporate cunt receptacle arbitrarily declared it all non-canon immediately upon acquiring the copyright for such? Whew, no long-term consequences here. Look, you can't just throw this shit out. It's a mythos, not a game award. You don't get to chuck half the shit we fucking liked, then cry that there's nothing left to adapt. If this bitch had any more excuses, they could ride around in a van and solve mysteries together. While anyone who's ever played Shadows of the Empire or Red Heir to the Empire could pinpoint precisely how many heaving fuck tons of shit this woman's filled with. Frankly, I think we're burying the lead a bit. This interview was carefully calculated, not merely ahead of episode 9's troubled birth and the banality blizzard that is The Mandalorian, but just in time for credible reports from major movie news outlets like The Hollywood Reporter, mind you, that Disney is deliberately not responding to questions from the press concerning this sow's future with the franchise, because they're canning her ass if episode 9 flops. You know, I don't generally advocate boycotts, but...
Yes, please.
So what does she do in the meantime? With one wave of those bony box wine ant index fingers, she whispers, "This is not the controversy you're looking for, fan twats." And like amazing atheists at a farmer's market, we are harder than a shark's tooth in T-minus 2 seconds. Granted, the rumor mill spun like CNN in a centrifuge mere months back that Kennedy would outright resign in disgrace, and that came to dangling dick. You have to hand it to this sea hag. She's like the Jason of corporate vapidity. Every time you think she's dead, just kidding, 17 more sequels. What do I have to fuck you to get you out of my life? Relax, ladies, no one wants to actually fuck a feminist. It's a joke. Our ability to recognize humor is what separates us from Trevor Noah. The operative difference here, of course, is how mainstream media is actually picking up on the story for once and predicating it on actual evidence. Hell, KK cops to it herself, saying in an original Rolling Stone interview when asked if she'll be sticking around for a spell that she's, quote, weighing her options for the future at the moment. Hardly these stalwart statements of the Force is female from Christmas past. It may not mean she's about to get got, but she's certainly getting there at Mach speed. Of course, until then, we'll suffer more brainiac bullshit interludes like blaming a lack of material for decent Star Wars flicks and ever more shrill rejoinders from diversity that were invariably generated in a Disney boardroom with fewer brown faces than a Mormon shuffleboard tournament, or the old standby, the vocal minority, a narrative so provably false Disney had an in-house study done that flat out fucking proved it was corn kernel speckled bullshit from the outset, but ran with it anyway for fucking victim points. You can blame the fandom menace, market saturation, and Old Faithful, the dreaded angry white male, but frankly, folks, at the rate this bitch is bleeding viewers, the only vocal minority Star Wars is gonna have is in the theater. I'm Razor Fist. God fucking speed.
Really don't get, sign for nothing, no. Really don't get, sign for nothing.
Wisdom they held, but that library contained nothing that the girl Rey does not already possess.